Okay, I see it's 4 o'clock now. Welcome, everybody. I'll require a mover and a seconder for a resolution to convene as a committee of adjustment for the September 14th, 2022 hearings. Moved by Terry, seconded by Stuart. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby convenes at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, September 14th, 2022. All in favor? Passed. The Committee of Adjustment hereby convenes a public meeting as per the Planning Act. Applicants and the public can speak at the public meeting. When asked who wishes to speak to an application, please raise your hand and direct all comments through me. Notice of the decisions will be sent to applicants and to the public if requested. Any person may appeal a decision or condition of approval within 20 days after the notice of decision. I will require a mover and a seconder for a resolution to accept the agenda for today's meeting as circulated. Moved by Karen, seconded by Stuart. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby approves the agenda for the September 14th, 2022 hearing. All in favor? Passed. I will also require a mover and a seconder for resolution to accept the minutes of the previous meeting of the committee. Moved by Stuart, seconded by Terry. That the Committee of Adjustments for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby accepts as read and circulated the minutes of its last hearing that took place on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022. All in favor? Passed. I now ask the Committee of Adjustment for disclosure of any pecuniary interest with respect to today's applications. None noted. I will now ask the Secretary Treasurer to introduce the first application.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The purpose of application A-2022-0032-H for Hawks is to construct a new dock and a two-slip, one-story boathouse, with one slip being a boat port, requesting an increase in maximum lot coverage within the first 60 meters, as well as an increase in maximum dock length. No formal correspondence was received.
Is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak to this application?
This is John Hawks. Other than to say, just say the township has been extremely supportive of the process and helped us through it to understand what's reasonable, and it's been all of the members of the township have been very helpful to somebody who hasn't done this before. So just want to thank you for that. I think the application though is pretty clear, so I have nothing to add to that.
Okay. Is there anyone else in attendance wishing to speak to this application? Do any of the committee members have any questions in regards to the application? Then I'll require a mover and a seconder for the resolution to bring forward this application. Moved by Stuart, seconded by Karen. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A-2022-0032-H Hawks to construct a new dock and a two-slip, one-story boathouse, with one slip being a boat port, and request a variance to the following sections of zoning bylaw 2006-125. Bylaw section 6.3, table 6.3, maximum lot coverage within 60 meters. Maximum permitted is 7.25%. Proposed is 9.3%, requiring a variance of 2.05%. Also section 4.28.2D, maximum dock length. Maximum permitted is 15 meters. Proposed is 20 meters. There is a 22.5 meter existing dock currently, requiring a variance of 5 meters, subject to the following conditions. that the owners apply for and obtain a building permit for the new dock and boathouse within 2 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. The extent of the variance will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted in the application. All those in favor? Unanimous, passed.
Thank you. So the application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the same, and the 20-day appeal period now starts.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm assuming we could leave the meeting at this point for you, so you move on to other applications.
Yes, you can. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciated time. Thanks very much.
I will now ask the Secretary Treasurer to introduce the final application.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The purpose of application number A-2022-0033-H for Imbrogno is to permit the conversion of an existing legal non-complying boat port into a boathouse, requesting permissions under section 45(2) of the Planning Act to allow for a slight enlargement and change from a boat port to a boathouse. Correspondence in support of the application was received from Derek Snyder.
Does anyone in attendance wish to speak to this application? Ms. Harrison?
Yes. Yes, my name is Sue Harrison. I'm the planning consultant that was hired to help the applicant navigate the review process for this minor variance. I just wanted to thank the committee for taking the time to look at it. And I'm just here to answer any questions, should any committee member have any.
Is there anyone else in attendance who wishes to speak to this application? Corbin?
Hi, Corbin Patton Designs, 1150 Highway 141, Rosso, Ontario. Just here to speak on behalf of the client and support Sue in any way. The one thing I did want to note is this boathouse was actually permitted as a boathouse, not as a boat port. And the previous owner before Marco actually built it as a boat port. So it was permitted back in, I think, the 70s as a boathouse, as a 2-slip boathouse.
Thank you. Do any of the committee members have any questions? Barry, you're on mute. Terry, you're on mute.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now we're cooking with gas. Through you, Mr. Chairman. So the intent here is boathouse. This is what. Not hearing me. Everybody's frozen.
I'm not.
How's that now, Terry? Try it.
Let's try this again. Can you hear me now? No?
Now we can hear you.
Yep, or not. Now everybody's frozen. Yeah. So much for my new internet connection yesterday.
Terry, we can hear you fine. Don't worry about us being frozen. I'll let you know if we can't hear you.
So okay. So I just wanted to verify. Mention here is the ask is for a 2-slip enclosed boathouse, both slips enclosed.
Mr. Chair, I can I can kind of answer what I think he's asking if you'd like.
Please.
So the purpose of our variance is to replace the existing boathouse structure. It's not in the greatest condition. We want to replace it essentially as permitted. As I mentioned before, it was permitted as a 2-slip enclosed boathouse. So we want to replace that as is. We are increasing the length of the boathouse just to accommodate a modern boat. I think the only thing that this boathouse could support would be a 16 to 18 foot boat. So we're adding 4 feet so that a modern boat can be supported in the boathouse. Beyond that, it's just the boathouse is getting a little bit taller. And so that's kind of all those factors are leading us to being here today. So replacing as existing, slightly enlarging and slightly increasing in height.
Terry, do you have it? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm just picking up parts of things, so I'm not sure what's the matter with my connection, so. It was supposed to be a better connection, not a poorer one. No, I just, yeah, I mean, it's you know, typically for this sort of lot, frontage is not
I'm not hearing.
Terry, unfortunately, you're breaking up. We're not able to hear what you're saying, what your comments are.
I think he was asking if typically this amount of frontage would allow a boathouse or a
that's fine.
port. The answer to which would be no, hence this application, but I'm really guessing there.
Would it be worthwhile for Terry to log out and try logging back in? Terry, are you able to log out and log back in? We'll wait for you.
Okay,
It might help too if he doesn't have his camera on. That might fix the bandwidth issue. So we should suggest that to him when he gets back in.
Okay, I sent him a text to try to just log back in with audio. Barry, how's that?
stop my video. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you all right. I don't wonder. Yeah, I guess the question that I was asking, if you can hear me, is
Yes, we can.
typically, okay, typically for at what point in our current zoning bylaw are you allowed to have a 2-slip fully enclosed boathouse over a 1-slip, 1 boathouse, 1 boat port? Taylor, did you get that?
So I can, sorry, Taylor, I didn't know if you were going to jump in, but I can answer Terry's question for him. I think, Terry, you were saying fully enclosed slips, 2 slips for a 1-story boathouse. I believe it's 90 meters in our zoning
90.
bylaw, and 60 meters permits 2 slips, but 1 would have to be a boat port.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions or comments, Terry?
Not for me, no.
Okay. Ms. Harrison, did you want to make another comment? I saw you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you through you. I just wanted to point out that, as Corbin said, this is a pretty minor, in terms of increasing the size of the boat house. And we are also moving it, the current one doesn't comply with the dock setback to the side, to the east. And we are moving it into compliance, so that it meets that setback. So, and it has been a continued use, and there's no change in use proposed. So we're not anticipating negative impacts. And the other thing I would raise also is, as was mentioned at the outset of the meeting, the neighbor to the west, who would be the most impacted, has provided a letter of support. So.
Anything else? Any other questions by any of the committee members? Okay, I'll require a mover and a seconder for the resolution to bring forward this application. Moved by Karen, seconded by Jim. The Committee of Adjustment hereby approves application A-2022-0033-H Imbrono under section 45(2) of the Planning Act to convert an existing legal non-complying boat port into a boathouse. The applicant wishes to expand the structure by 10.59 square meters and increase the height by 1.35 meters, as well as to move the structure further from the easterly lot line. The following permissions are required. Bylaw section 4.28.1J, table 4.4, minimum lot frontage for a boathouse. Permitted is nil. Proposed is a 1-story, 2-slip boathouse, both slips enclosed. Permissions required, 1-story, 2-slip boathouse, both slips enclosed. Also, bylaw section 6.3, table 6.3, maximum lot coverage within 60 meters. Permitted is 8%, proposed is 8.73%. There is 8.26% currently existing, requiring a variance of 0.73% from, which is actually a 0.47% from the existing boathouse. Subject to the following conditions: that the owners apply for and obtain a building permit for the new boathouse within 2 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. The extent of the permissions will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted in the application. All those in favor? Unanimous.
Okay, thank you. So the application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the same, and the 20-day appeal period now starts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I now ask the Committee of Adjustment, is there any other business? Stuart?
I've got a couple of things. Do you want us to submit our quarterly expense sheet? And I was asked by one of the applicants if they wish to make a change after they've submitted an application. Can they do that, or do they have to reapply?
I'll jump in for the first one there, Stu. Yes, please, if you can all submit your quarterly expense sheets just with that new mileage rate. I can resend any formats if you need it, just let me know. But yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
For the second question, I think it depends on the scale of the change. If it's a major change, it might require recirculation so the public's aware that it's not at the face of it the same proposal. If it's fairly minor or still working within the same approval, what we've always done is we just flag it right on the committee report that this change has happened since public circulation versus what you're seeing in front of you. However, it doesn't warrant a new circulation. So I'm afraid it depends on the scale of it. So we can't tell you, don't worry about it, or yes, it's absolutely fine, one way or the other, without knowing a bit more specifics.
Thank you, Taylor.
Anybody else? Then I'll require a mover and a seconder for resolution to adjourn the September 14th, 2022 Committee of Adjustment hearing. Moved by, it's always moved by Stuart, seconded by Gary. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby adjourn this hearing at 4:20 p.m. on Wednesday, September 14th, 2022. The committee will hold its next hearing at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, October 12th, 2022, or at the call of the chair, unless the Secretary Treasurer has not received complete applications for committee consideration. All those in favor? Funny how this one passes no problem. See you next month.